Hi everyone! A few days ago, I was tremendously saddened to hear about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing. She was a Supreme Court Justice that is also sometimes affectionately known as a notorious RBG. She's become notorious on clothing and in promotional and marketing items just because she was this tiny woman but ferocious in her spirit and her ability to lead and just academically and intellectually gifted. And it's funny because when she passed away, I had so many personal friends of mine reach out to me and offer their condolences. And I realized that I had made no secret of what a huge fan I was of her. And then I started thinking about why I was such a huge fan. I mean, why did her death affect me so much? And why has her life affected me so much? And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. First, she was an extraordinary person. I think most people would agree with that. Whether you agreed with her politics or not, but her rise to be a Supreme Court Justice is awe-inspiring. And for anybody, especially for women or young girls that were looking at it, it is just an incredible journey. Although she wasn't the very first female justice, that honor was given to Sandra Day O'Connor, she was probably the most famous and well-known of them. And the reason for that is, like I said, that she was so sharp and so determined and so driven and so clear in her focus that she made it all the way to the top in our judicial system. And when you listen to her story, I would urge you to look at some of her documentaries and read some of her books. But when you listen to her story, she accomplished all of that as a mother. She was a wife, and a devoted wife, to a man who had actually been diagnosed with cancer very young. And as a result, she ended up going to not only her own law school courses, but then also attended his as well so that he wouldn't fall behind in his work, and took his notes and helped him to study. Now, if you have been to law school, or even if you haven't, or if you've just been to any school, you know how difficult it is for us to even just keep up with our own work, let alone to be taking on another person's course load and trying to help them out as well. So she did that, and then she was also a mother at the same time. And they worked collaboratively to make sure that each other's dreams were realized. But she did not let those roles only define her or limit her. She in fact allowed it to enhance her ability to be a really good lawyer, and then ultimately to be an excellent judge. And I can obviously relate to that in so many different ways, not only as a female business owner, but then also as a mother and a lawyer as well. As somebody who is consistently striving to achieve that quintessential work-life balance, I can appreciate how much she must have struggled, how she might have been riddled with self-doubt at times, and yet she just kept pushing through. And so my message to all of you is the same. Not that we have to be the Supreme Court Justice, because most of us will not be that, but that if we have a dream, whatever that dream might be, we hold on to that dream and we just keep pushing through. And I say the same thing especially to my immigration clients, because their dream is to hold a green card in their hands or to hold a work permit in their hands. And most of the time they've spent most of their life being pushed around and being told no. And I tell them, there is a way for you to get what you want. It might be a more difficult way. It might be a more onerous way. Maybe it's not possible, but we'll just keep trying and pushing and seeing what we can potentially do, because I believe that your dreams hold merit. And I say the same thing to women that I counsel when they are escaping from domestic abuse situations or bad marriages, or in any number of circumstances. Whatever that dream is, whatever that goal is of yours, hold on to that tightly and know that despite all the obstacles, you will eventually achieve that goal. And I think that's kind of why, RBG is known as this notorious RBG, is because that's what she did. She fought against all odds at a time when women were not even, they weren't doing anything beyond the household. Not only did she not allowed that, she became one of the only women to attend the law school. She was in a, there's a famous photo of her and she's just surrounded by all men in her class picture. She faced every obstacle to get her jobs. She was relegated to like a legal secretary in her beginning jobs, even though she was brilliant, because they didn't think that she could actually be a lawyer, God forbid, and be on par with anybody else. This is the time when women couldn't even get their own apartments, and they couldn't get their own, they couldn't even consent to their own medical exams, and they certainly could not aspire to get to the Supreme Court. And yet she set her eyes on that and then just kept pushing through. And so, so I leave you with this message in honor of her, but also in honor of the women that you know in your lives, whether that is your mother or your sister or your wife or a friend or whoever it might be. Understand that yes, there are struggles, and there are struggles for everyone, regardless of gender, but understand that there are struggles. There will be obstacles, there will be dark times, there will be really, really challenging times, but there are other people around who are willing to lift you up, to support you, to help you out. And on top of that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that is what I always tell my clients. I tell them, you've taken the first step. Now let's just keep waiting for the good to come. And so I leave you with that message as well. And in honor of RBG, I continue to support anybody who feels like they don't have a voice, or anybody who feels downtrodden, or anybody who feels like they need just a little bit of help to represent themselves in the society. If that is you and you are looking for somebody, give her off a call. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and be well. Thanks.